You are now tuned into the Unknown Empress podcast.
Welcome to the Unknown Empress podcast, episode 3, Parenting, the fear of failing my kids. So let's get up, wake up, and dive in. Parenting. Let's talk about the pros, cons, the good stuff, the bad stuff, and all stuff in between. As parents, we want happiness, joy. We want a whole healthy life for our kids. Parenting isn't just people who birth kids. It's those aunts and uncles that have significant roles in children's lives. It's neighbors and friends who also impact children's lives. And the whole responsibility for the adults is to make sure that the children have a healthy whole life. And that brings about the joy of being a parent, but also it brings pressure to get it right. Me, I'm a parent of 2 kids, and there's a lot of pressure on me to get things right. There's not a book to teach you how to be a great parent or what to do and the decisions to make. And there's plenty of literature out there to read about parenting, but it's only until you're in it, doing it, that you grasp how you want to move, how you want to parent, what you want to do, because each child is different. You might have one that is super active. You might have the next that's laid back. You might have a wild child, a sweet, innocent kid. You might have a child with learning disabilities. You might have a child with physical impairments, health issues. So, of course, what works for one child may not work for the next. So, you have to adjust. So, even though there is literature out there on parenting, you have to find out what's going to work best for your children. And so it's more to parenting than buying and providing for them. As parents, even those role models that take on the role as parent, we have to make sure that we instill values and morals into these children just as much as we provide the necessities: food, clothes, water, and shelter. We have to make sure that we take on that big responsibility of instilling values, making sure your children are respectful beings, making sure that your children have life lessons that they can carry with them along as they grow up and mature, because this helps them compete in society. Our children must be able to compete in a society that may not choose them automatically. What do I mean? I mean, someone may look at our little girls and boys and might say, not him, not her. With these values that we're instilling in them and morals that we're instilling in them, it's going to help them to be able to compete, to be better than what society perceives them to be. I was very critical in my first child, picking her name, because in my young, immature mind, even I was immature in my mind, I thought that her name has to be able to stand on a piece of paper without anybody ever knowing who she is. When they look at her name, they should automatically choose her. And then when they choose her by her name, her character, the values I instilled in her, will stand for itself. Which, second time around, I didn't think that so much. I became more mature into myself, into the type of parent that I was, that I wanted to name my child something that was meaningful to me. So I can't push that enough, that we should definitely make sure that our children can compete in a society. That means we got to teach them to be their absolute best. We got to teach them to go harder. We got to teach them to try even when you want to give up. We got to teach them that even though they may be first, they might get a second hand trophy because somebody else said, I'd rather this one than that. So we got to set our kids up. And we have to give our children leverage. We got to give our children leverage to be greater, to be 100%, without slacking, without letting up. And great kids come from great parents. We have to be great at parenting to make sure that our children can be great. We have to make sure that even when we disagree, or even when we feel like it's not fair, we have to give our children the tools to go forward, to push forward, and to go get it. Even if they don't feel like it, we have to make sure that they know that the society, the world isn't fair. Great kids come from great parents. And greatness comes when your child knows that they have to be 100% at all times, which might seem unrealistic and unfair. But it's the society that we live in. Our children cannot afford to slack. Our children cannot afford to let up. Our children cannot afford to not give their best every single day. That gives them leverage. When they step out being best Monday through Friday, when they step out being their best in school and everything that they do, when they step out representing greatness from the way they dress, the way they speak, to their manners, to how they respect adults, that gives them leverage in society. We have to make sure that our children have that. We can't shower our children with material things. We have to put money in their education. We have to show up for the after school program. We have to show up for the in-school programs. We have to show up for PTA meetings and field days and awards day. We have to show up for our children more than put in the money into their clothes and shoes. Yes, we want our kids to be super cute. We want them to have the latest and the greatest, but we also should want them to have the best education possible. That means not expecting the teachers to teach them, but also us doing our part as well. Parents, we have to teach our children too. We have to teach them the morals, values. We have to pour into their self-esteem and their character. And we have to teach them education, because we can't expect the school system to teach our children everything that life has to offer. We have to teach them as well. So I want parents to take initiative in teaching your children things that the school may not teach them, because we want them to be equipped. We want them to have an upper hand. And parenting is so much more than buying them the latest materialistic things. Those things will fade. Our children are going to outgrow those Jordans. They're going to outgrow that pink. They're going to outgrow all of the expensive things that we're buying. And that's not going to support their well-being. That's not going to help them to compete in society. We have to pour into their education. We have to make sure that we're present, and we have to make sure that our kids are being accounted for, because it's somebody else waiting and preying on their failure and their downfall. And because they're children and they're minors, it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure that our children have more than what they need. So the Unknown Empress challenge you to invest in your child. Invest in your kids with more than material gifts. Invest in their aspirations. What is it that you want to be, baby? What is it that you want to do? That's a question that we ask our kids all the time, and other adults ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? That matters. Suggest things. Try to figure out what it is that they want to do, so that you can lead them, guide them, parenting at a young age, so that when they do get of age to decide what they want to do, they already have a clear idea. That should be a conversation topic that you talk about with your kids often, because it's going to change. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a judge. I want to be a police officer. Have these conversations with your child. Well, what do you like to do? How can mama help you bring that to life? We have to have these type of conversations with our kids, instead of having those insufficient conversations about what you like, as far as what little boy you like, or what little girl you like, or what rapping songs and dancing and all that kind of stuff that doesn't matter. We need to have conversations about their aspirations and their dreams, so that we can make sure that whatever that is that they want to be, that they have a map. We have to give our children a map to be great. We have to give our children a map at accomplishing life and being successful in life. I also challenge you to invest in traveling with your children and exposing them to the world. That's important. Growing up, to share a little bit about my family growing up, we didn't travel. We did not go on family vacation. We probably took maybe 4 vacations in my lifetime as a child growing up. That wasn't important in my household. But I guarantee you, the memories that you make, the memories that you make with your child as you expose them to life and they can see a different culture other than what's in their backyard, will make a difference in your child's life. It'll make a difference in what you expose them to, that they can see that it's more to life than just my backyard. So we have to invest in our children. We have to travel with them and we have to expose them. It doesn't have to be a trip to Japan. Take them to the next state, and go further. Take them to 2-3 states. The next trip, fly somewhere. Start small, and then go further, because we have to expose our children to other things other than what we're accustomed to, because it'll help get them out these comfort zones that they get in. And they won't be afraid, because we won't keep them in a box. We want our children to exceed all parameters. We want our children to exceed everything that we've done. We want our children to be better than us. So you have to invest and you have to travel. You have to expose them to the world. Invest financially in their education. I can't stress this enough. Christmas, birthdays, whatever it is, don't spend a whole bunch of money on the latest Xbox, the latest Jordan that came out, or the latest fad. Invest in these kids' education. Put money aside to whatever it is that they want. I'm not saying everybody have to go to college. Your baby might want to go to trade school. Get a trade, learn to do something, and go from there. Whatever it is. It was something that I wanted to do, to go to college, but my kid may not choose that route. But whatever she chooses to do, I have to invest in it financially, because I didn't go to school debt free, but I desire for my child to go to school debt free. That when she finishes getting whatever trade, certificate, degree, whatever it is that she wants, when she finishes, she doesn't owe anybody. Because it's one thing to go to school and it's another to owe $100,000 in student loan. If you start investing now in their education, and instead of spending a lot of money on the way they look, but what they know, we have to spend money on what our kids know. Start buying them books. Read to your kids. Make sure that they can read to you. That should be, and I know a lot of times in school, they say kids have to read 15 minutes or 20 minutes. You read a chapter, baby, and I'm going to read a chapter. We do that quite often. These are some of the things that we have to do as parents so that we do not fail our children. I don't know it all. You don't know it all. And it's not in literature. But it's these small little tidbit things that we can change about how we parent, so that we can make sure our children have leverage and that they can compete in society. We want our children to be self-sufficient as adults. What's also important in parenting, parents, we must consider who we are creating life with. Don't let the way we make kids be the reason kids are made. When I say that, I mean it is so critical that we get out of ourselves and the idea of how children are made to be the only reason why they were brought into this world. Of course, this is how they're being made. We all know, we're adults. We all know how children are being made. So it is critical that when you're in these acts of passion and in these heated moments, that you think about, is this someone that I want to parent 18 plus years? Is this someone that I can see myself raising life? If y'all can't even make it through the 9 months of pregnancy, that's a clear sign that is not going to be a good person that you can parent with. The kid ain't even came into the world yet, and you and him already done fell out. Y'all ain't had no business making no baby. We got to make babies not because it was good. We got to make babies because we're ready. We're in love and we're ready to bring life into the world, and we're financially able to support this little being. You can't take care of the kids. That's a clear sign you don't need to have them. Because these kids need more than money. They need values. They need character. They need love. You don't show your child you love them by what you buy. You show your child you love them by how you can support them educationally, how you can support them mentally, how you support them as far as your parenting. Are you hugging and kissing and loving on your baby? That matters to kids. So we have to sit down and guard that, the art of making kids. We have to guard that. It cannot be just a thing that we do. It can't be a thing that we did. Kids need to be made out of love, not out of lust. Kids need to be made because I was ready and I made a clear, conscious decision and I planned and I mapped this thing out that I was ready to pour myself into another being so that life can be created and that this child can have a fulfilling life. If that's not the reason this child was made, then that's a clear sign that that's not the right one, and parenting is going to be an issue because it's going to be more difficult. Because the way you made it, the way you made that kid, you didn't guard yourself. We have to guard this. We use sex so freely now. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in music, it's in the movies, it's in the cartoons that they're watching. That's why you got to watch what your children watch. Your children cannot watch any and everything. With certain shows growing up that I didn't let my baby watch. I don't care how popular they were. I don't care if everybody in her class was watching it. Certain things I didn't allow her to watch because it was my parenting that I felt like I saw something that was inappropriate and I said I don't want my kid exposed to that. We got to guard how we parent. We got to guard what we want our children exposed to and how we're going to expose them to it. You must decide the type of parent you want to raise your children with. If you and your partner are not on the same accord about parenting, guess what? Those kids are going to pick up on that and they're going to pin y'all against each other. Because this one said I could and this one said I couldn't. Some of us may be single parents and that's fine. But if it's two parents in the household, you want to make sure that y'all are in cohesion with parenting. And of course, if it's a single parent household, then what you say goes. So we have to be sure to model the behavior that we want our children to display. And we say this all the time in the Black community, do as I say, not as I do. That's the saddest thing we can ever say as a parent. Because we have to parent with modeling. We have to model the behaviors we want our children to do and be. And if you telling me to do as I say and not as I do, that means you're acting in a way that you don't want me to act. But you telling me to do something different from what I see. Children learn by what they see. I hear you saying behave in this manner, but I see you behaving in another manner. We can't parent like that, you guys. We have to step it up a notch. Parenting is about modeling the behaviors you want your child to do, modeling how you, and if it's something that you don't want them to see, then that means you need to separate. It need to be some kind of discretion. My children don't need to be sitting around when I'm talking about certain things and doing certain things. When I was growing up, kids was in one room, and when adults came around and my mama sat around with her girlfriends, we didn't sit around getting all the tea. We didn't soak it up and listen to it, and we didn't know what was going on. We were separated. We got to get back to that experience. We have to get back to separating and keeping things discreet. We don't have any discretion with our parenting now. Everything we do, our children know. When you talking about something, we don't need to be on the phone and our children in earshot listening to everything we saying and then going back and modeling it at school. And now we clueless as to why our children doing these things at school and talking this way and being grown and doing X, Y, and Z. Well, they heard it from you. They saw you doing it, and now they in school and they doing it, and we clueless. I don't know why because she sat while you was talking to such and such and giving her all the tea. She was right there getting it too. While you served it hot, she was getting it too. As parents, we have to be better than our parents so that our kids can be better than us. And that's no disrespect to parents. That's no disrespect to our elders. But I want to be a better mom to my kids than my mom was to me, so that my kids can reach higher heights than I did. I want my kid to do more than me. I want my kid to be a girl boss. I want her to be an entrepreneur. I want her to get a master's and I want her to get a PhD. I want her to go further than I ever imagined. And the way she does that is because I'm going to be better. Every level, every generation has to be better than the generation before. And that's no disrespect, but that's all about greatness. That's all about us pouring into our children. Most importantly, last but not least, we have to have a solid spiritual base. Rely on help from a higher power to help you be a better parent. Believe and pray over your kids. Pray with your kids. That's how I start my day. On the drive to school, me and my child pray. I pray, she prays. We have to pray over our children because they're not with us 100% of the time. And it's very important that we pray with them so that they'll know and so that they'll feel empowered, because it's the higher power looking after them. We want people to see God in our babies. You have to pray so that your children are covered. And you got to make sure that you're giving them life lessons and values. Make sure that you are teaching these children something so that they can be somebody and so that they can go somewhere. So it doesn't matter if you're coming from a single parent household, 2-parent household, or more. It takes a village. We have to enlighten our children to compete in today's society. So remember, we have to pray over our children. We have to model the behaviors we want them to have. And parents, we can't fail our kids. Thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of the Unknown Empress podcast. Follow me on Instagram at unknown.empress. Follow me on SoundCloud at The Unknown Empress. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Until we meet again, The Unknown Empress.